Back to open. The Law Enforcement Benevolent Association, or I should say Law Enforcement Employees Benevolent Association, better known as LEBA, was the first labor organization to receive a contract under the de Blasio administration with a retroactive pay of $53,000 per member. A landmark decision, and here to explain exactly what this means and how law enforcement officers can benefit this is the president of LEBA, Kenneth Winder, and we thank you so much for joining us, and good to have you.
How are you today?
Good, good. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Landmark.
I would say yes.
And long time coming.
Long time.
How long?
8 years. 8 years. We started in 2005. We decertified the Department of Environmental Police from Local 300, and we set about saying no to the city of New York for the offers that they gave us. We had police officers that were submerged in civilian contract, and they deserved a law enforcement contract, which is why I formed LEBA, which is Law Enforcement Employees Benevolent Association. Took an 8-year battle, negotiations, arbitration, and then finally on February 13th, with the new administration, we finally settled on a deal.
Right. You were able to get a contract under Mayor de Blasio's administration, but under the Bloomberg administration, during that whole time, you were unable to even get a contract. Now, looking back on it, any real reason why over those 8 years? How do you paraphrase?
I paraphrase it as today people don't want to do the right thing, and you know sometimes people who think they're in power and they think because things have been done a certain way, that's going to continue to be that way. DP police officers need a law enforcement contract, and I give you an example. Inside this contract that was just signed was line of duty. How do you have a police officer do his job without line of duty? And what that means is, before this contract, DP police officers who got hurt protecting the civilians and the water that they serve would have cost them workers' compensation. Now with this contract, they'll continue to get their full pay while they're out. Now the city knows they need this. Everybody, they're the only agency, only police organization in the state of New York that did not have line of duty. So it's not like they didn't know it, they just didn't want to give it to them. Mm-hmm. It took 11 negotiation sessions, 11 arbitration sessions to finally come up with a contract. We did it in one meeting with the new administration under de Blasio.
Just one meeting?
One meeting.
But go back for a minute, because there was a contract that was presented and you guys said no. Why?
Because that contract was a civilian pattern. It wasn't a law enforcement pattern. It wasn't giving the police officers the things that they need. I'll give you an example again. Uniform allowance was $250. Now anybody who's a police officer will realize that your dress blouse will cost $250. NYPD gets $1,000. We were able to achieve that in this contract now, $1,000. Basically, this contract is giving them what they need to do their job. Mm-hmm. You want to be a police officer, but the city has to give them the tools to do their job. And some of these tools that we received in this contract was line of duty, clothing allowance, night differential, and we go back in July 7th to finish up longevity, increments within pay. I'll give you an example. Me and you have been here for 20 years. You've been a sergeant. I get promoted to a sergeant, but I still make the same money you make. You're a 20-year vet. I got 3 years on. I'm a sergeant, but I make the same amount of money. Title assignments. We have detectives that aren't getting paid for doing detective work. We have the emergency service unit that's not getting paid for doing emergency service.
Now to the outsider looking in, that sounds incredulous. That how do you go for so long being a detective and not doing detective work? Talk to us about the men and the women that work there, the mindset, because given the fact that you had 8 years of no contract, you guys still go to work.
And it's true. They didn't believe that we could decertify them from their previous union and get them into LEBA. Once they saw that, they had a little bit more faith. And in 8 years, believe me, it was a grind. It was, take anything. But you have to settle out your first contract once you get out on your own. You have to make that first contract count. And that's what we did. And it was hard. We had one guy, Officer Eric Hoffman, almost lost his life. And what did he get out of it? He gets workers' comp, and now he gets only $1,000 for the rest of his life. He'll never work again as a police officer or maintain a job. But these are the things that we fought for, and it mattered to resolve even more when he saw that accident happen. And money-wise, we made it through. It was tough, but they waited, and that was something that when we tried to negotiate with the Hanley administration, the Bloomberg administration, the retro pay, they didn't want to pay us. They didn't want to sign the contract. They appealed it, anything to delay it.
Right. And as we talked in the lead-in, we talked about a retroactive pay of $53,000. What exactly does that mean for the union?
Well, that means a lot. The employees were able to get minimum was the median was 53,000. Some members got up to 73,000, and some less, depending on the time that they came on. It meant a lot to the members. Now they can do their job, and that contract, which is only up to 08, we're not finished. We still have a ways to go. We have to do 9 and 10. Which was 4 and 4 that was put on the table for us. We have to go back and get that. Plus, we have to start negotiating forward with the new administration as far as whatever the new pattern is going to be, or whatever he's going to give to uniformed service members or uniform pattern contracts.
Now, to the average layperson who's just watching this and saying, listen, that's nice that you guys had a deal, what does that mean in terms of rollout? How long before these things actually roll out? If I have retro pay, $53,000, how long does it take for that to really roll into what's going on?
Well, and again, the new administration, I have to give them credit when I say do the right thing. And a lot of people, they don't want to do the right thing. But when we settled this contract on February 13th, every member of DEP was paid all their retro at the end of this month. It was already paid. So that was rolled out very quickly. So he took care of that. So that was very nice. And now we have to go back in July and finish up the contract.
What does it feel like being the first contract being handled by the de Blasio administration? What does that feel like for you guys?
It was an honor. And it was a surprise. I'm being honest with you. There's 150 other unions besides us, and we're the smallest. But we went first, and he settled us with us first. So that was a shock. We went in February 13th, and I told him to Mr. Lynn, and I said, listen, I didn't expect this. I really didn't. I thought it was going to be a short meeting, and back to the lawyers and everything in negotiation. But he did the right thing. They stepped up. And they said, you deserve this. This is ridiculous. We look back. You've been without a contract since 05. And here we are in 14. So he said, I want to take care of it. And he kept his promise, and he took care of it.
What's the conversation been like amongst your union members since this has occurred?
Very good. They're happy. They're looking for July 7th to finish up. We have what we call an MOA, which means it's not a finished contract yet. And when we go back in July 7th, all the things that you just discussed, longevity, which is another $5,600. We're talking increments. We're talking job assignments. These are the things that have to be done, and not economic stuff with the Department of Environmental Police.
Walk us through a little bit about the union and how many people you have in the union and who exactly you guys represent.
Right now, we represent the Department of Environmental Police. So for everybody here that turn on the water every day, drink water, they protect your water. Over 2,200 square miles from almost tip of Albany all the way down to Yonkers. A vast. Have you ever gone through Yonkers Raceway on Major Deegan? And you look over there, you see that big, I call it the biggest outdoor pool in New York City.
Right.
That's your drinking water. And they protect that. They protect the land and make sure no terrorism, no what is done. We also represent Sands Casino, which is in Pennsylvania. And right now, we're in the middle of an election right now for 835 additional officers. Department of Homeless Service Police, Human Resource Administration Police, TLC Commission Police. We have Juvenile Justice Police. We have DOH-MH, which is the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. And they're all right now in the process of an election. We also have an election set up for CUNY Campus Police, who are leaving their union to come to LIBA now. And we've also assisted the Health and Hospital PBA with bringing Health and Hospital Police aboard also. And we're also in the midst right now of negotiating with school safety to see if they would like to come out too.
So you're getting all you guys up under one umbrella.
Well, what we're trying to do is not only that one umbrella, correct. Under Local Law 56, which the city just passed January 10th, they're finally appreciating and acknowledging what law enforcement does. Law enforcement is not just about being a police officer. I was a former state trooper, and I found out that there's more law enforcement personnel than there is actual police officers. But since 9/11, things have changed. You have now what you call their job functions of where they're almost doing police-like work. I mean, today, anybody here who works here on the campus, you see your CUNY police, they do the job of police officers.
Right.
They also have a SAFE team for riots and everything else. I mean, these are the things. Department of Homeless Service Police. People don't even know they exist, but they have a SWAT team. They do warrants. They execute warrants. I mean, these police do everything that police officer, NYPD does.
You know, I must admit, I found out the hard way. I was driving down by Riverbank State Park. It was raining outside. I didn't have my lights on. And all of a sudden, the lights come on behind me. I'm like, who is that? And the little guy's in the green car. DEP, and they have the same kind of jurisdiction as police officers in certain situations.
And the same powers under the CPL. They're full-fledged police officers. And their job is to protect the water, again, and like all these other services. And that's where LIBA's moving now, to finally say no to the city of civilian contracts. You can't be a civilian and do law enforcement. It makes them vinegar. Well, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Because their contracts have to be tailored to what they do. You know, you can't have, you don't have line of duty. Well, if I'm doing my job and I'm putting myself on the line and I get assaulted, I get hurt, then what? Now I can't take care of my family and I can't take care of the people. I'm not going to want to do the job.
Right.
You know, I think maybe 2 times in my career as a state trooper, I actually said, what am I doing? You know, and the guy, you know, you get a bank robbery, you know, automatic weapons, and I'm doing 95 miles towards it and everybody's moving away from it. You start to think sometimes, but these are the things that you don't want a police officer thinking about when they're trying to do their job, or any law enforcement officer, even here at CUNY. For them to do their job, they don't want to think about, well, if I get hurt, then I can't work and I can't take care of my family. No, their job is to protect you. That's what they took that oath for. And to do that, they need to have that contract. And that's what we fight for. Because a lot of these employees, they want the protection, but they don't want to pay for it. And they don't want to give them the tools to do that job. Everywhere you go, there's security. Everywhere. And they don't want to pay for it.
True.
And that's the point.
Well, Kes, we'll continue to bring you back here so that we can bring us the updates
problem.
as the contracts get further negotiated. Just make us the deal that you come back and give us an update.
I appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much.
You too.
All righty. We got to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to find out about an event that serves as the official precursor to Bronx Week. We'll let you know about that in just a few seconds.